Hi friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm Katie. It is early Saturday morning before the first Sterling ink launch. And I'm here to talk about how my experimentations have gone and how that's going to lead me towards what I'm going to order tomorrow morning. Sunday morning, depending on what day I upload this. I think I'm going to upload it on Saturday. We'll find out. Anyway, so the last time I talked to you, I had a pretty good idea of what layout I wanted to use, and I thought what size I wanted to use, but I wanted to test it out, but I also didn't want to settle into it yet. I kind of want to do something different for the end of 2024, just so that I'm excited for a new thing in 2025, so I don't undercut that excitement. So what I had done was printed some Creffective Paper layouts in Passport and made just a little insert. So I've been doing that for 2 weeks, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the first week that I did that, I also printed out some little booklet inserts in B6 Slim and standard TN size. And I made myself a little TN size cover and carried both of these around for a week. They were pretty light. It wasn't too bad. They fit in my purse okay. We'll come back to this. And honestly, what I did this week, I was in this layout here from Creffective Paper, which I actually really enjoyed. But this was where I wrote things first, what I referenced, but the whole week as I was going through this, I was also doing it in my preferred layout that I'm testing here in both B6 Slim and TN standard. It looks like I fell off by the weekend here, and that one, I did it through Saturday here. As I said, this wasn't entirely where I was planning. I just wanted to see if everything I was trying to do fit comfortably in one or both of these sizes. And the answer is yes, it worked really well. TN standard is not a size I've ever really been drawn to. As a B6 user, it feels so tall and rectangular. I've used the Weeks size, and that one doesn't really bother me, and I actually really like the B6 Slim, but TN standard just is not a thing I get drawn to. But I wanted to test it out and see. A lot of people really like it. Clearly it is likable, and it didn't really cost me much of anything to give it a try. I just printed out some pages, and this is scrap leather that I had kicking around, and I can see it now. I agree, it feels nice in the hand. It's taller than my gut is drawn to. But I was testing it because it is between B6 Slim and TN standard. You get one more grid line per day of the week in a horizontal. And so it's the difference between 6 and 7. And I just wasn't sure if that was going to be a difference that I actually appreciated. I didn't know. I knew 6 was about right, but I was 7 might be better. And so I tested it out, and even I have another week here. I didn't do that, but I can show you this past week if I can find it. So this was a different layout, and it seems like I average about 4 things that I'm trying to put on these dailies, and then have stuff in, so I have day-specific tasks, week tasks that are only one instance and week tasks that are like multiple instances. That's how I have these divided. That's what it's like here as well. Right. Different weeks have different number of tasks. It seems like 4 is about my usual, and 6 is very possible, but 7 doesn't really seem to be happening. And if there will be daily pages available to me, so if I have a day where that's really happening, it can, or if it's like on one of these weekend days, I can go across, or I can do it in one of these other spots. I have options. So I don't think that the difference between 6 lines and 7 lines is a huge deal, and the difference in height does feel substantial to me. When I think about it, you know, it's only like an inch and a little, I think, but it actually makes a big difference to me. I really like this aspect ratio a lot better. They're the same width, but the reduction in height just makes it feel so much less tall, which obviously it is less tall. So that's why, but like I feel it. It feels different. So I did these both for a week, and I feel very comfortable in the idea of getting a B6 Slim. Part of what the other thing I was attracted to for the TN standard size, or getting the N1 from Sterling Ink, is that like this is a much more common size out in the world. You know, the availability of accessories and covers and whatever is like just way higher. I briefly fell deeply in love with the Traveler's Notebook collaboration with Blackwing that has like the beautiful pencil down the side, and Fantasy Katie was enamored with the idea of getting an N1 and doing that, but it's not right. And honestly, the accessibility of accessories for the TN standard in my mind is both a pro and a con. I think it would be extremely easy for me to go like hog wild and to get all kinds of things that I don't need or could make myself or whatever. And I do have like a pretty impressive ability to make things for myself based on the studio that is around me and the equipment and materials that I have. So the fact that fewer things are available in B6 Slim is really not the end of the world, and probably like just as well. I don't need to get into the Traveler's Company rabbit hole. Like, I'm not in it. I've been content to not be in it. They make cute stuff. But I like the passport size. If I really want to get involved in that, I can. Or B6 Slim, right, is the same width. So when someone releases like a beautiful like Traveler's Notebook like insert, so like the Sarica, I don't know how to say it, Studio ones, I'll put a link below, with the beautiful gold foiling on the front. Gorgeous, beautiful. I can buy it in TN standard and I can cut it. It's just a grid. I just cut like an inch off and we're good. So I've pretty thoroughly talked myself out of the TN standard size. As for how this has been going in the passport, I'm really enjoying it. I gotta tell you, I have really liked both layouts that I've done so far. So this was the first one, and I think I like the first one a little better than the second one, although the second one had more room here for the like habit trackers, but I didn't use all of either of them. So, and then like it had the this week spot, which I didn't need, so I preferred this one. I'll put the link to whichever one this is in the description because I don't remember, they're just numbered. So I've been really enjoying that. I have been paper clipping it to the weekly that I cut out of my passport sterling ink. And I've just been paper clipping them together so that I can just like go between them. But this week had laughably little on it. This current week had a little more. I don't use it that much. I used the grocery list a little, and it was helpful at the beginning of the week to do this, but really I would prefer this information to be on my page. I'm just not a page flipper. It's not something I'm good at in any planner I've ever been in. I don't really use a monthly. I don't use like goals pages or tracker pages or whatever. I'm just like not good at flipping the page. I don't know what the deal with that is, but that's where we're at. So in terms of using what I've got and testing things, I think this is working like great. You know, these pages didn't have a different fate. So even getting used in this minimal amount is like a fine outcome for them. I am kind of falling a little bit back in love with passport size. It's just really, really beautiful in the hand. But for what I want right now, it's not big enough. I need the extra height. And that's mostly what B6 Slim is. It's a little wider, but mostly it's a height difference. And I've been putting this in my bag, you know, with the cover. Even the full TN size fit in my bag. So I think it's a difference without a distinction, really, between the two sizes. Like, yes, this is bigger, but it doesn't seem to inconvenience me, and it does give me what I need because that extra height is essentially being used to put this timeline in here. And again, this first week really didn't have very much, but imagine a week more like this, which is still not very much, but it is things worth glancing at, and that's all I'm really doing is glancing at it. It doesn't need to be super detailed. That's why it can be so small. It's just a visual reminder, because I find that the more times I see an event, the more likely I am to remember it. And I have alarms and other things. I don't generally forget events, but it's nice to have it just like constantly in here. I do really also enjoy the sidebar, the groceries. These are non-meal associated groceries, just things we need to pick up, errands, the mail, meal planning. I like all of that. And being able to get this in here is the difference between like the week's size, the N2, and the B6 Slim. It's like a half an inch different, but it means the ability to like really write it out instead of like really squishing it. So all that to say, tomorrow morning I'm buying the B6 Slim Horizontal Compact. I was tempted to do the full year just because the compact is in the color Mist, which I think is beautiful, but is what I've been using for my passport this year in 2024, so I feel a little over it. But I don't need all the pages, and I'll cover the cover. Like, I'll do something to cover it, it'll be fine. So that's my big plan for tomorrow when orders go live. In terms of, this has been almost all talking about my everyday carry, because that's really where I'm like processing. Oh, we didn't really talk about this. So this is my trifold rings. I am a little bit missing some of the information that's in the rings. I ended up taking out the ones I needed most and sticking them in the back pocket. For my setup for next year, I will need to find a way to incorporate some of that stuff. But maybe as inserts, or parts in the back. I don't need too much of this, but I do love just having scrap paper, and I actually keep some like drawing paper and like watercolor paper in the back for, you know, when you need it. So I'm gonna need to find some kind of system for that. It's possible I'll make another trifold and use personal size rings, or that I will just incorporate it into my covers insert somehow, or I can remove these rings and make like essentially like a plotter style thing where it's just the rings, not the trifold, and carry it, you know, with, if I want to. So I got options. That's still kind of in process, but that doesn't need to be decided right now. That's still like 4 months away. I needed to decide what I was ordering tomorrow, but that's it. In terms of my other sterling ink potential order, I go back and forth on getting another B6 common planner for my journal. I love to journal in it. I've been more on a painting in it lifestyle lately, but these are from my vacation. I still need to print the photos. I love journaling in it, but I'm not currently really using the weekly pages, and I never really was using any of the front pages much. So I think I'd be equally happy with a notebook right now. I'm on the fence about getting the planner because I tend to change things and I might want them. So my plan there, that's a different launch. That's 2 weeks from now. And I think I'm just playing it cool on that one. I like to do 2 pages per day. Sometimes I fail to fill them, but here, like on my vacation, I love doing 2 pages per day. Even when I'm not on vacation some of the days. But I also skip a bunch of days. So I kind of need more data on how many pages do I need. Like, what is my ratio of 2 pages per day versus 0 or 1 pages per day? I think the ability to do 2 pages per day is essential to me, but I think it's very possible that a notebook with enough pages for 1 page a day is the right number. I just kind of need to like have done it for enough days to run the numbers and know. And right now in September, September 1st, I don't have enough information for that, because I only really started doing this a few months ago, and maybe I have enough data when I look at the other notebook, part 1, but I'm playing it cool. Yeah, here's another painting. I'll do a flip through soon. I've been really enjoying gouache in here. So I'm playing it cool. I've decided that what I'm going to do is, because I think I would be fine with a notebook, which I already have. I would be fine with half years, which is what I've done the last 2 years. And I would be fine with a full year, I think. It'd be thicker. It wouldn't be my preference, but it would be okay. I could also do a compact and a notebook. So I've got a plethora of options of things that would be just fine. And so I'm not ordering immediately. Partly it is that, like, I don't love the colors that the half year is coming in. They're fine. They don't bother me, but they're not like spurring me that I must have them. The last 2 years I've bought this light pink, and apparently that's been a production problem. I haven't had a problem with mine, but that is the impression I've gotten. And mostly I get these not because I'm like so passionate about this color, but because it's like just a pretty light neutral. It's easy to like cover with vellum and whatever. But they're all easy to cover. It's not that big a deal. But the green and the brown don't like move me to like be sure to act. So my plan there is if I order a B6 item from Sterling Ink for 2025, which I think is pretty likely, I'm having a hard time moving away from it. I'm not using the weekly right now, but I have a lot in the past, and I like having the option. I think I'm gonna buy something in like November or December. That's my plan. Play it cool, see how I feel, see how the numbers work out, and wait. There's no bad outcome here. If she's totally sold out of everything, which I would be very, very surprised by, B6 is one of the favorite sizes for the common planner, then I already have some blank notebooks. And I could use a blank notebook and then maybe one of the academic years, or I have like no shortage of options. There is not really any FOMO for me on that. I'm worried about the B6 Slim because that's a new size. I don't know if she has a lot of data on how much of that to stock. But the B6 is going to be around. I'm pretty confident. The undateds might come out. Like, there are a million ways that it would work out and be fine. I could get a Wonderland 222. Like, it's not my preference, but like I can do it. It's not, the stakes are so low. I'm going to play it cool. I want to see how I feel in November or December. So I'm leaving that behind. I'm ordering the B6 Slim tomorrow. Hopefully it won't have to be two ninja fingers a situation, that I'm prepared. And I'm just content to wait for this. I do have a work planner that's being ordered elsewhere. More on that another time. I bought from a brand that I never thought I would buy from. So that's your hint. You probably won't be surprised, but I'm surprised. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for hanging out, talking this through with me. I hope that you've also achieved clarity. If you haven't, experiment, draw things out, do test weeks. Try not to buy like 5 things in the hope that you only want one. I know it's tempting, but it's not recommended in my opinion. But if you want to and you can afford to, then, you know, by all means. But try to work it out. Do some test pages, figure it out before. That's my recommendation. It's worked really well for me. I'm thankful not to have an N1 and then have to figure out what to do with it, to sell it or whatever. It's not a terrible outcome, but it's simpler all around not to. Anyway, have a great day. I will talk to you soon.